What's the gem of your collection?
This one right here. This is a Hot Rod TRS-80. I've souped it up. It's got a megabyte of RAM and it's quick because it doesn't have all this fancy colored garbage graphics to distract you and take up time.
What's your favorite machine?
The Altair. Easy question.
The PET, the Commodore PET. That brings back a lot of fond memories.
Welcome to the 1998 Vintage Computer Festival, where English is definitely a second language.
It was programmed in octal. Octal is base 8, uses 3 bits, 3 binary bits.
Yeah, well, I've got a 320 up there that's plenty smart.
The earlier models of the PDP-8 used individual flip chips that were 1 wide.
I thought, wow, wouldn't it be neat if there was one place that you could go to every year instead of having to go and search around all these different flea markets and hamfests and things, where you could go to and find all this stuff in one place and meet with other people and talk computer geek over here. You know, so we
Sam
got all
Ismail,
kinds of
the
different
event organizer, believes for many of these festival attendees, collecting computers is more than just a hobby.
You got to be fanatical to want to take all these different machines and cram them in your closet or your garage or whatever.
At the show, we saw the history of the personal computer. Of course, there was the original desktop, the Altair.
This is a fairly early version, okay? Came originally with the front panel, the CPU card, and all of 256 bytes of memory.
That's not megabytes or even kilobytes, that is just bytes. We also saw the first ever laptop.
The Toshiba T1100 was the first portable computer to actually be called a laptop. And Toshiba came up with the name.
There was my first computer, the Commodore PET.
It's pretty unique for its time because it's an all-in-one unit. It has built-in cassette drive, which was the big standard back then.
And the precursor to the Macintosh, the Lisa.
First commercial machine that used a mouse that was fairly successful. The only downside of it was, 10 grand out of the box.
And the first, yes, the very first Macintosh.
This is the original Macintosh, 128K of memory. This is the one that generated the 1984 commercial that ran once during the Super Bowl and was never seen again on television. The translucent
Jim Willing is a computer historian with a collection of more than 350 antique computers.
I don't think there's any such thing as an obsolete machine. If it's running and it's doing something useful for you that you need done, it's serving its purpose. It might not be as fast, but how fast can you type?
Jim runs a website where he gives advice on restoring vintage computers. He compares refurbishing these relics to another hobby, car restoration.
I think if you look back in car restoration, it started off as a fairly small group who were interested in particular cars, and they started figuring out how to go about keeping these things running, sometimes learning themselves how to do sheet metal work and the like to repair fenders or things like that. And we're starting to see that in computers.